Welcome to the winter wonderland of today's game. Well, admittedly, when I'm recording this, the weather outside is still very close to being summer. So, last time we went around on a skateboard. But what do we do in Ski or Die? If you answered, we're skiing, you're correct.
RetroKork.
Skate or Die was pretty successful, so EA decided to produce a sequel, Ski or Die, which hit store shelves in 1990. Now, Ski or Die takes some of the basic concepts of Skate or Die and puts them into a winter context. So you will notice some similarities to the predecessor. First off, you start in Rodney's ski shop. Yes, Rodney, who just 3 years earlier ran a skate shop in Skate or Die. He is now a ski shop as well. But his appearance differs quite a bit from Skate or Die. Now, unfortunately, you do not get to choose the color of your skis or snowboards, and the controls in the town center, which now is plastered with Burton Snowboards advertisements and covered in snow, while the controls are different, since now you need to press fire instead of pushing forward to accelerate a bit. So basically you need to learn how to move in the hub before you can go to the events. Speaking of events, they are Snowball Blast, which has you throwing snowballs from a first-person perspective at kids. Those kids are coming from all directions, which is why, if you're not ready to throw a snowball, or throwing right now better to say, you can turn around by pressing the spacebar. You aim with your joystick, and you throw by pressing fire. Now, your objective is to knock over 50 kids in a minute, in 3 successive rounds. You can find stashes of snowballs sometimes, but don't expect too much, because you can only collect, gather, hoard, maybe. You can only have 255 snowballs yourself. Next, let's take a look at Downhill Blitz, which has you go down a hill. I know, Captain Obvious here. You control a scene on the screen, meaning you decrease the speed by pushing your joystick up, and by pulling down you increase it. Now, don't run into trees, and when you reach a cliff edge, you can jump off by pressing fire, and you can do tricks then as well. Just don't forget that airtime is limited. Now, aerials is not about you receiving radio programs while being in the air. It's about acrobatics in the air. You start off by pressing fire, then rotating your joystick like a Tasmanian devil, or for a more apt comparison, as if you were playing, say, Summer Games 2, and when you head off, do some stunts. Flips can be done by pushing the joystick forward or backward. More complicated stunts require the fire button. Just don't think you can spam the same stunt over and over and over and over and over. Inner Tube Thrash reminds me personally of Downhill Jam from Skate or Die from last episode. But instead of skating, being on a skateboard, you're sitting in the inner tube of big rig truck wheels, and you try to knock back your opponent in this downhill joust. You press fire and push the joystick to rotate. To jet at the opponent, you press fire and pull the joystick down. And last but not least, there's Snowboard Halfpipe, where you do stunts while going down a halfpipe made of snow. For those stunts, I suggest you better look at the manual, since they depend on your speed and location. Just try to avoid icy patches. Ultimately, I find Ski or Die to be an inferior game to the awesomeness that is Skate or Die. But if you are in need for a quick fix of snow and winter games, and winter games is too serious for your liking, well, then maybe this game is for you. Just don't expect it to be as miraculously awesome. Okay. In 2 weeks, we're going to look at a simulation. One that I admit I only have learned of recently. It's called Airport 94. What's the deal about that game? I don't know, but we'll find out.